William and his mother-in-law's visit to the pub is said to have shaken Harry's thoughts about his safety in England. Let's analyze why Harry is so obsessed with this, and welcome back to my channel, my thirsty friends. Prince William is said to have appeared with his mother-in-law, Carol Middleton, at a pub in North Norfolk last Easter. This is said to be contrary to Harry's actions because while in the UK, he was always afraid for his and his family's safety when appearing in public or anywhere on British streets. So, he and his wife fled England 4 years ago. Maybe he wants a team of security with sunglasses, earpieces, and automatic machine guns trailing him everywhere. The Harkles want a crew of outriders flanking their vehicles wherever they go, ideally in the UK and the US. They probably want flags on their cars and perhaps even a special horn to signal that royals are coming through. Don't look at us, but look at us. They will make everyone bow their heads, allow themselves to be hugged if someone is chosen, show how pleased they are even if it's with fake enthusiasm, and be careful not to communicate in loud voice eyes in any case because everyone is not worthy. I still don't get how a man can be as brave as Harry claims to be and be terrified of his own shadow. If it were just about his wife and kids, I might have a little more understanding, but just for himself? Small people need big guards. Probably because his wife is whispering in his ear about the dangers along with a healthy amount of pot and psychedelic drugs. The drugs alone are probably enough to send anyone into a paranoid fantasy. He's a cowardly, yellow-bellied little sheeker. They called him Bunker Harry. He's never been in a fair fight. He's never not had backup. He's never been punched in the face, and it shows. He was so traumatized when his brother made him trip over a dog bowl that he wrote a book including this story. For a man with safety fears, he sure does announce his plans a lot. Sure, maybe he can't hide the fact that there will be that ceremony for Invictus in May, but why even say anything about Meghan or the kids? If you want to bring them as a surprise. Hire some bodyguards and you'll be fine. Like every other celebrity in London. But he just has to whine to the government, then to the media, repeat the cycle, and then don't bring anybody out of concern. I can't imagine growing up in such an atmosphere of fear and paranoia when objectively they aren't living in a war zone. No, honey, you can't meet your grandpa and your cousins. London is too dangerous. I think a big reason they want 24/7 police protection is so they can compete with the royals. If they have that, they can run around doing engagements in the UK and they'd look like real royals. Do you think Harry on his own would be dumb and desperate enough to fake an incident whilst visiting the UK? If he tried to stage anything in the UK and was found out to be a fraudster, I can't imagine what their popularity poll numbers would look like as the cost of their idiotic internationally protected persons lawsuits increase. Harry's security complaints are such a joke. Considering the biggest threat in the UK to Harry is William ripping his necklace and shoving his arse into another dog bowl for attacking and bullying Catherine whilst she seeks treatment. They will have to up their ante in that case, as their almost catastrophic car chase was shown to be a sham. Who knows what event they will attempt for themselves? Harry is just needing to ride off and get it into his thick skull that no one does get 24/7 high-level security just so his bint of a wife can kid herself on that she's important. I'm sure I'm in the minority for thinking there probably is a security issue with Harry, but one he brought upon himself. If you make yourself the most hated person in England, that's the risk you take. UK taxpayers should 100% not have to pay for the ramifications of his loose lips. This Harry fears is a continuation of Markle believing she's more important than she is, or anyone cares what her genetics are. OMG, Harry, I'm so scared because I'm black, the racists in the UK will lynch me or my babies. How many times has she collapsed on the floor, sobbing in fear over her safety? Her sobbing seems to be the trick to getting Harry to parrot her talking points. Makes me wonder if Harry ever saw Diana collapse on the floor sobbing and he told Markle. She seems to use that particular emotional manipulation to her advantage. However, if Harry was concerned about security, he would not be announcing private visits to the UK like he did when he visited the king for 15 minutes, resulting in thousands of dollars when he required a police escort from the airport. It must have made Harry feel safe and important. The whole reason for this is that he doesn't want to pay for his security. They both want internationally protected person status. That way, they save money, and the bonus is that they look so important. Driving in a motorcade, traffic being stopped for them, not stopping for traffic lights, police outriders, what's not to love and more importantly, crave? They just can't accept that they have no relevance. No one is interested in them or cares what they think or do. The only cachet they had was their association with the royal family. It has now been made abundantly clear that they are personae non grata with them, and the dastardly duo is panicking. Internationally protected person status would raise their profile, especially if Harry is trying to establish himself as an overseas statesman, which in reality, absolutely no one would accept. His interference via his discussions with the First Nation representatives in Canada was totally out of order. He had no right to make assertions on behalf of Harry and Meghan government. And until now, we know all these are fueled by his wife. She told him so and he believed her. Somehow, he lost the ability to trust and believe in himself after meeting her. This is not uncommon for some men who will lose all sense of judgment and kinship with their very close-knit family after meeting or marrying an evil woman. Meghan leaked the date. Meghan has decided it wouldn't be safe for the kids. Meghan is the one who has maybe twigged she's not welcome here. Meghan doesn't want Hairball to bring the kids. If there is a threat to anyone, it would be Harry and Meghan, calling actual humans chess pieces after you've defeated them. Could, in theory, make trouble for yourself. As for the people of the UK, ain't nobody going to wreck their lives to cause them harm. It's just more slurring the UK from the selfish human that is Markle. Now on to Harry. A majority of Harry's current problems are consequences caused by Harry and Meghan from the past. Karma always catches up with you. Good, in between, and bad. That's life. A normal 39-year-old would get this, but Harry doesn't. He blames his brother, dad, stepmom, and British people, the media in general, the American people now, etc. I'm glad Carol is staying with them. I'm sure Catherine needs a lot of support, and a mother's support is not comparable to anything. In the end, this is probably the subtle nuance of the terrible couple. Nothing was said publicly, only demonstrated by actions that the privacy and security claims were overblown. And I want to reveal more. Didn't William also jog through Central Park in New York City back in November alone? No one bothered him, and that was in the United States and New York City no less, with a lot of crime and packed people around. It tells you a lot about how much people just don't bother them and treat them like normal people. If the heir to the British throne was able to run in New York City alone or go to a pub with his mother-in-law alone with no harm, then no one would care about the not even spare Harry. Harry needs to be equal to William to feel like he's important, which makes me wonder how many times Prince William had to concede to Harry only to realize that it wasn't his life to be kowtowed and catered to, it was the perks of the job. And what job has Harry ever actually performed? What is his body of work? Seems to me he has created unnecessary work for a lot of other people to coddle and manage him wherever he has been involved. He is not a net contributor. And I think what Harry is afraid of is being booed and people shouting at him about what a turd he is. He wants security so that they can at least act as a buffer and keep people away from him. Otherwise, people would be walking up to him telling him he was a liar. The same one he's been the past 5 years. Somewhere in that addled mind of his, Harry believes he's more important than William because he's a philanthropist, a feminist person of service to humanity. He's broken out of the royal mold to help humanity while William is imprisoned by the palace. Harry just doesn't realize no one cares about him, Meghan, or his kids, and he's in more danger in the US due to our idiotic gun rules than he is in the UK. Harry needs qualified psychological counseling to deal with his paranoia. The thing is, if Harry had chosen to remain on the Windsor estate, he would benefit by being in proximity to the protection afforded by his brother, who lived only 100 meters or so away from Frogmore Cottage. Had he chosen to remain in the UK generally, I think people would have been understanding of his mental health issues and the challenges on his sense of safety since his mother had died. I think people would have let him live his life quietly and given him a fairly wide berth overall, and not complained about him getting a modest security detail given his proximity to the throne. But he won't get qualified care from a mental health professional because he's too busy telling us about professional burnout. He's too busy being an enabler to a raging narcissist who is fueling his feelings of persecution and violence stemming from racism. One day, I fear that boy will wake up and realize just what a botch he's made of his life. Only by then, it will be far too late to turn the tide back. Finally, I just want to say that I hope William lives as normal a life as possible while all the landmines in his life explode. Meanwhile, his whiny, useless brother cowers before his own shadow. On a positive note, it's nice to know that William and his mother-in-law Carol took a much-needed vacation together. Reflecting on the issues we have just discussed, I believe it opens up many fascinating perspectives and deepens our understanding. Your opinions are extremely valuable as they enrich our discussions and help us approach topics from many different angles. So, do you like the topic I brought you today? If so, type OK. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But please leave me a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and share this video because your support is a strong motivation for us to continue to improve and provide deeper content. Thank you, and I look forward to our next meeting. Take care.